Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting Amazing Moves number 3. In this series I present some of the greatest moves ever played in the history of chess. And this time I will present a game all the way back from 1925. It was played in Marienbad and the players in action were Janowski with the white pieces against Sämisch playing black. As usual in this series, I will not go too deep into the game until we reach the decisive points of the game. So please enjoy Janowski Sämisch Marienbad 1925. The game started off with d4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, bishop g5, the Torre attack, c5, e3, knight c6, knight bd2, b6, c3, bishop b7, bishop d3, c takes d4, e takes d4, bishop e7, knight c4, castles, queen c2, queen c7, h4, h6. And in this position, the first very interesting move was made, and it was Janowski who decided to sack his bishop on g5 by playing queen d2. And the idea is that if Sämisch had accepted the bishop, h takes g5, he would have to accept white winning back the piece immediately, because knight d5 would lead to bishop h7 check. And then queen c2, and the threat now is bishop g8 check, followed by queen h7 checkmate. So for example g6, then bishop takes g6 with a strong attack. So after h takes g5 and h takes g5, he would have to play something like rook f to d8 and give back the piece, and then we would have an interesting game. But Sämisch didn't take the bishop. He played knight g4 instead. Then came bishop f4, d6, knight e3, knight takes e3, queen takes e3. And in positions like this, a possible sack on h6 is in the air, and Sämisch has a very original way of preventing white from getting 2 pawns for such a sack. He plays h5. And still it could be possible to play bishop h6 in a position like this, but then black would probably just have to play something calm like rook f to e8, preparing bishop f8, g6. In the game, Janowski found something very interesting. He played rook h3, trying to lift the rook to participate in the kingside attack. e5 from Sämisch, d takes e5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5. And the white attack is very promising, and one can hardly blame Sämisch for taking the knight. D takes e5, but then bishop takes e5. Janowski recaptures with the bishop, attacking the black queen in the process. And Sämisch tries bishop d6, tries to engage his second bishop in the central battle, but Janowski's bishops are still pointing more directly to the opponent king than Sämisch's bishops are, because Janowski's king is still in the center. But the problem for Janowski now is that he doesn't want to trade dark squared bishops, and he cannot retreat his bishop to d4 because of the pin in the e-file. Bishop d4, rook f to e8, winning white's queen. So he has to come up with something extraordinary to keep the initiative here. And so he does. He comes up with a brilliant tactical move, which is, still to this day, one of the most beautiful tactics ever played in the history of chess. Janowski found the amazing move queen h6. And the threat is of course queen g7 checkmate, or queen h7 checkmate, and also the bishop on d6 is hanging. And it's very hard to find a defense against all these threats, and one option could be to play f5 here, because then the queen would defend g7 and the king would have an escape route on f7, but then would simply follow bishop c4 check. And since the queen has to defend g7, it cannot take on c4, because then there's a checkmate on g7. Another defense and another point is of course that the queen cannot be taken because of rook g3 checkmate. Now we see the idea behind this rook lift and this power of the white bishops. So the best defense would have been f6, and then after queen h7 check, king f7, bishop g6 check. Then if king e6, then bishop takes d6, and if queen takes d6, then rook e3 check is decisive, and also king takes d6 doesn't work because of castling with check, bishop g5 and bishop e4 winning the bishop and having a strong attack with the black king stuck in the center. And the same goes for king e7, exactly the same, still bishop takes d6, and if queen takes, then we have a queen takes g7 check, rook g1 winning the queen, or if king takes d6, then we have this queenside castle with check, and again the bishop is won, and the game is also won. So there are quite a few lines after this queen h6 move, but Janowski felt they would all be winning, and he was absolutely right. And same is just the same way, because he actually resigned after this brilliant queen h6 move. And I think this is the most beautiful way to end a nice game. So I hope you enjoyed this amazing move number 3, and I hope to see you on my chess website at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.